X'd old-school front steps. Morning stretches over the block like an old blanket. Warm where it hits, but still cool in the shadows. The stone steps of the decommissioned school are cracked but clean, swept just enough to suggest someone still cares. Maybe out of habit. Maybe because the dust feels like failure if it settles too long. Nurse Mystic stands at the top step, hoodie slung over scrubs, boots planted in that signature posture, like she might nap or sprint, depending on how the day starts talking to her. Down the fence line, two groundskeepers trim hedges. Spanish flows between them, casual and rhythmic. Mystic, squinting at a stubborn corner of the hedge, replies in her usual accent-scrambled mix, "There's a cooler in the shed, DR Sports and Snacks. Just saying." Just then, an oversized electric SUV rounds the corner with a synthetic whistle. It flickers slightly in the sunlight like it's buffering. It pulls to the curb. A suited man steps out, clipboard glowing faint blue at the corners. His shoes crunch on gravel as he approaches. "Mystic Lopez? Your guild is past due. Since you're neutral and multiracial, do you really have a dragon? Because of your good standing with the city, I was able to waive most of the founding fees." He says it in the tone people reserve for overdue library books, just bureaucracy catching up. Then he checks the clipboard again, a bit more awkward now. "Looks like you've been auto-enrolled as a field guild. Neutral medical. Contributions are expected. Not as much as others, less protections too. Neutral status handles a lot, but you still get bundled fees." Mystic blinks, lips twitch, no actual reaction. "I didn't start a guild." "Well, technically, you did, with a lot of high-ranking witnesses. Says here you're in the grace period. You've got 11 out of 12 requirements. Just need to mark your altar. You've been logging cases, assisting contracts, showing up to flagged incidents. That's Code 31 activity." The clipboard beeps smugly. "So yeah, you're a guild now. Congrats. Maybe open your mail." He steps backward and slips into the van, which hums like a dying office printer, and drives off with a wheeze of cables and bad decisions. Mystic exhales through her nose. She turns, only to find Linda and Keith, the married couple from across the street, blocking her path. Both wear paint-splattered hoodies and sip iced coffee from mismatched mugs that say Holy Grounds. Behind them, their half-renovated church leans into the morning like it had one too many sermons. "That friend of yours always deliver bills in a whistling electric SUV? He's not my friend." "Told you. First day we moved in. Whoever owns an old school built the same year as our church is definitely evil. I'm neutral." "And we love that for you, honey. Don't listen to him. I think he's spiking his coffee again." "Speaking of, looks like your gardener's replacing some old fence hinges. Mind if I rummage through the pile?" They clink mugs and stroll back toward their porch. Mystic watches them go for a beat too long. Then, "What's wrong with my life that two people so normal seem so weird?" A soft hum builds above. A drone glides into view, blinking blue. It lowers itself like a lazy hummingbird and drops a box at her feet. It chirps cheerfully, then zips away. Mystic sighs, grabs the box without ceremony, and disappears inside. Inside the box, a precision surgical tool and a brand new knife, obsidian-edged, sleek, sharp enough to cut through dragon scales. In Mystic's living room late morning. The house is quiet in that mostly normal but vaguely haunted kind of way, standard for Mystic. Sunlight pushes through half-drawn curtains, catching on dust motes and the edges of old books stacked like furniture. As she walks into the living area, she stops cold. 4 tripods, 4 cameras, all positioned with purpose, angled, lit, recording. Vamp sits casually on the couch. No glamour, no theatrics. Just a hoodie, sweatpants, and 3 different garlic parmesan fry containers laid out like a tasting flight. He dips each fry into either ranch or hot sauce, depending on the results of a trivia quiz blinking across a nearby monitor. Tiny chat windows race down the screen like digital rainfall. Emojis, donations, rapid-fire reactions from people, and definitely some non-people. Mystic inches forward. Vamp doesn't look up until he's done chewing. He casually mutes the stream with one hand. The screen cuts to a placeholder. Back fang break, stay tuned. 1 sec. Everything okay? Mystic crosses her arms, staring at the ranch like it's part of a crime scene. Other than the fact that you've apparently been secretly living here for 2 weeks. Yeah. Everything's great, except I thought vampires couldn't do garlic. You and everybody else. That one came from Elizabeth the Complainer, like 5 centuries ago. She could smell it from a mile off and wouldn't shut up about it, turned into folklore. So, no allergic reaction, no hissing, bursting into flame. I like it. Used to sleep with it, actually. Common practice back then. Old habits die slow. Besides, vampires evolve. We sync to the era. Garlic, whatever. These days, feeding off emotions cleaner through pop culture. So yeah, pop star, actor, streamer. That's how I eat now. Mystic glances at the ranch again. Cool. Just maybe go easy on the ranch. It's like watching someone ruin a good memory in real time. She starts backing away. Vamp's energy is too much, like static before a lightning strike. Somehow too alive for someone dead. At the doorway, she mutters mostly to herself. You were the lead singer in a 3-kid boy band before switching to acting. I should have known you'd be the weirdest part of my week. The Red Barons Farm League field hums with low-key summer chaos. Lukewarm nachos, kids in oversized jerseys, folding chairs that should have retired years ago. An overeager announcer calls the game like it's the World Series. It's not. Bottom of the 9th here at Red Barons Field. 1 out, man on third, and Jermaine Cooper steps up to the plate, looking to make something happen for the home crowd. Or just get us home before meatloaf. Nurse Mystic sits in the bleachers beside Alyssa, who's chewing sunflower seeds like they owe her money. Mystic gives a polite, single clap, already bracing for disappointment. Well, he's overdue for a crack. The bat connects, a deep high shot into center. Mystic rises, shielding her eyes with one hand. That ball is up. It's back, way back. For a second, it looks like it might clear the fence. Mystic glances at Alyssa. Better luck next. Caught at the warning track. A beat of disappointment. Then the crowd erupts. Yes, but the run scores. Sacrifice fly. Red Barons win. That's the ball game. 2 pitches, 1 triple, 1 sac fly. That's textbook small ball, folks. Mystic blinks as the dugout empties and players mob home plate. Alyssa just grins. Told you, he said he was feeling it today. Into Mystic's house, early evening. The front door swings open. Drops her bag with a thud and heads straight for the fridge. Mystic kicks off her boots and exhales like her spine finally gave up. So, this place is kind of yours now, too. Already inside the fridge. You're gonna regret saying that. Yeah, already do. Int Mystic's living room, continuish. The lights flicker faintly as they step in, like the house just sighed. 2 goblins are standing near the kitchen, flanking a newly visible floor hatch, in a spot where Mystic knows there used to be a rug. She squints. Okay, what are you doing here? The goblins nod respectfully and gesture to the open hatch. Goblin nub arrived. Mystic steps forward and peers down. In the dusty sub-basement she didn't know existed, a faint glow surrounds an outdated receptionist's desk, complete with a cracked nameplate that reads, Welcome, Patience. A bell sits crooked on the counter. Something hums beneath the wood. That's it? That's the altar? A shimmering trail drifts in as Zigzag, her unofficial fairy apprentice, floats down like she's been rehearsing this moment. All founding members receive one. It's tradition. That's a front desk from a nurse's ward. It wasn't being used. Mystic runs a hand over the altar. The wood shifts beneath her touch, snapping from stained mahogany to sterile white, like a memory locking into place. Great. I have a grass skirt hula dancer somewhere I've been meaning to display. The fairy lands on the desk, kicks off some dust, and poses like it's her new throne. The goblins beam like they just installed a jacuzzi. This guild is just squatters with paperwork. Way smoother than the merman situation. Do not elaborate. She turns toward Zigzag. Also, there are guild dues. In my name. When are you paying? Oh my God. It's not that kind of guild. I'm already housing and feeding half of you, and apparently there are favors being traded in my name. I was afraid of this. All this power, it's going to your head. This is why I wanted to be a solo medic. I saw you faint because a goblin had a hangnail. Hangnail's not in here, is he? Fine, I'll bring it up at the quarterly meeting. You have meetings? So I'll pencil you down as a no for quarterly. What about the bi-quarterly? No, never mind. Mystic opens her mouth to reply, but flinches. A fly buzzes past her face and lands squarely on the altar. Smack. One goblin claps his hands together with perfect accuracy. Got it. The altar flares. A pulse of light, then it shifts, deep midnight black, with strange runes glowing faintly beneath the desk bell. Silence. Zigzag stares, then panics. "You idiot! That was our first offering." The altar throbs again. The glow deepens, humming like it's thinking. Nurse Mystic is supposed to stay neutral, heal anyone who calls for aid, regardless of species, guild, or sin. But tonight, someone tried to claim her with a sacrifice fly, on her behalf, without asking. The altar accepted. And neutrality protections? Gone. Her safe zones may glitch. Magical zoning is unstable. Alleyways loop. Street lamps blink Morse. Cats have opinions. Back in the room, Zigzag floats next to the glowing desk, chewing on a lit sparkler like it's a stress snack. Zigzag. We've got like 4 hours before the soul sets, or marinates, or locks in. Depends on your dialect. You flip the altar without my consent. That makes me aligned. It was just a fly. A virgin fly. Magic's picky. Is this a bad time to bring up family housing? Mystic stares. So, no daycare either. In Mystic's kitchen, a moment later. Mystic yanks open the fridge, trying not to scream. To no one, half laughing. Why do I care that we killed a fly on my squatter's play-pretend receptionist desk? From the other room, Vamp. Technically, that makes it a sacrifice fly. Mystic slams the fridge. Lights flicker again. Fly. She slams the fridge shut. The lights flicker again. Leans against the kitchen counter now, swirling a half-melted blood pop like it's a glass of Bordeaux. Okay, look, I know you're tough, you heal half the city, blah blah, Florence Nightshade or whatever, but losing neutrality? That's stupid. Like, walk into traffic during a mana storm stupid. He bites the pop, winces. You get marked, and suddenly you're fair game. No more safe zones, no more guild protection, no more free pass when two clans start throwing lightning and spleens at each other. You really want to be neutral adjacent? That's like being kinda immortal. Don't be that person. Nearby, Zigzag floats in midair, flipping through a glowing scroll that seems to update in real time. Also, your interguild medical certification? About to expire. Your zoning privileges? Revoked. And your mailbox might sprout actual teeth, more than the ones already chewing through your bills. She flips the scroll closed with a dramatic sparkle. Do you even realize how many communities want to see the first forming guild in centuries fail? Especially one that's neutral, especially one that heals in their eyes, the enemy. Vamp points a lazy finger at her, nodding. See? Teeth. Don't be a moron. Mystic just stares at both of them, exhausted. Montage. Goblin good deeds before midnight. At a blinking crosswalk, a goblin gently holds the arm of an elderly woman. Such a tall, dashing young man. Mistaken for a paladin. Write that down. 2. The dental donation. A goblin drops a velvet pouch onto the clinic counter, full of jagged teeth. I'm an oral surgeon. Heard you're short on specialists. Before anyone can react, he vanishes in a puff of mint-scented fog. 3. The soup switch. At a food stall, a homeless man snoozes with a lukewarm broth. A goblin swaps it out for a still steaming meat pie. Goblin. Warm belly better. I already ate. A rat. 4. The library card. Security corners a goblin inside the city library. Instead of stealing, he's photocopying ancient goblin folklore into a handmade zine. A stack of overdue returns sits neatly beside him. 5. The graffiti fixer. After getting caught spray painting arcane runes, a goblin scrubs them off, then repaints the wall into a mural of the city's founding heroes. One of them looks suspiciously goblin-shaped and waves a tiny flag. 6. Unintentional heroics. Some good deeds weren't planned. A goblin interrupts a mugging, scares off the thief, then keeps the wallet. Another drags a stalled car out of traffic. 2 goblins steal a bus and give free rides home from a dive bar. They accept loose change, old gum, Pokemon cards. Dropping something into the fare box, Magic 8-Ball, never let me down. 7. Yard Crashers is suburban street night. A woman exits her house holding a frying pan. Her yard is being ransacked, but weirdly improved. Go, go, go! Grab the rake! Goblin Dumppost, I'm helping your flower bed. They vanish into a waiting van. The yard now looks weirdly amazing. Goblin inside van, 2 whole favors in 40 seconds. In Mystic's house, just before midnight, Mystic paces. Her bag's half packed, her hair's messy, and she's annoyed. Mystic. I swear, the one time I want injuries, nothing. Sketchy alleys full of yoga classes and smoothie trucks. Zigzag drops onto a chair, flipping a scroll lazily. Zigzag, you need one more. One meaningful, unselfish tribute. The front door creaks. A goblin limps in, cradling the magic 8-ball keychain like a relic. I offer myself. Excuse me? Champions of the Guild of Medics of Lopez have been chosen. The altar hums. The fly's soul flickers, neutrality restored. It's just a fly, but this universe, it has a very weird sense of humor. Then again, the 8-ball's been right more often than most prophecies, and sometimes magic just wants to laugh. X City Edge, night, just past midnight. A goblin flexes his new magic 8-ball knee, wobbling like a baby deer. He gives it a shake. 8-ball readout. Outlook, shaking knee again. Night's not done. Laughter. Then a sudden silence. Goblin number 2? Oh no. You feel that? Oop. Guess we forgot to check the old clan links. Others rush off. One yells, Nurse, the goblins are in trouble. Narrate. The goblin district was on fire. Not literally, yet, but chaos leaked from every crack in the cobbled streets. Someone had smashed the lantern glyphs, so the light bent strange, casting long double shadows. Ash drifted from somewhere. Nothing burned, but everything looked like it had. Containment fields buzzed like angry beehives. 5 formless doppelgangers hovered midair, flickering shadows of static and gelatin, suspended in fragile rings of runelight that pulsed with anxious energy. Dwarves in rune-tech armor scrambled through the mess, their boots skidding on loose gravel and old fruit. Their voices snapped over one another, clipped and controlled, but barely keeping pace. Reduce perimeter by 2 glyphs. Prep the storage matrix. Override the shapeshift pulse. These things are confused and unstable. And then she arrived. Sound of boots on stone, cloth swishing, a bag hitting the ground with a medic's finality. Mystic, commanding, in motion. I need water, clean bandages, and 3 people with working limbs. Move. Nurse Mystic dropped to one knee beside an unconscious goblin. His skin was burned in patches. Not fire, but something magical that had gotten stuck mid-cast. The air around him shimmered faintly, reacting to her. The whole street pulsed like it was holding its breath. She didn't blink. Where's the leg? We think it ran off. Then find me a donor. Doesn't need to match. Just needs to be goblin. Across the wreckage, another medic crouched. Smaller frame, quick hands, limping slightly. The goblin known only as 8-ball leaned over a bleeding patient, his cloak tied off with dental floss and pride. He shifted his weight, and with a soft click, his kneecap glowed. Low whirring, liquid swirling. A soft chime. Embedded in his left leg, a clear, swirling window. The last surviving magic 8-ball, now fused into flesh and prophecy. Magic knee readout. Signs point to tourniquet. 8-ball. Tourniquet it is. Tightening cloth. A groan from the patient. A spark of magic as the bleeding slows. Eightball muttered a spell as he worked, almost bored. It wasn't elegant, but it was effective. The kind of treatment that worked better the less you asked questions. Calling out without turning, "Hey you, one body per set of legs." A goat bleats somewhere close by. Someone yells in response. A goblin barrels past with a stretcher fashioned out of 2 mop handles and a folded tapestry. That goat's not a patient. Goblin? He bit me. I panicked. In Goblin Hut minutes later. The Goblin King looked like a statue someone had tried to bandage back to life. Big, grumpy, moss-covered. Reading glasses sat crooked on his crooked face. A rusted crown leaned behind him on a broken crate, like even it knew better than to ask for attention. Mystic, whatever it was went clean through, should heal just fine. Think it missed a few arteries by millimeters, though. So, this make us even? Even for what? For poaching my goblins. No warning, no tribute, no letterhead. He paused. Too long. And then he grinned. The kind of grin only old goblins get away with. Kidding. Mostly. Still being alive beats the alternative. Dwarf negotiator. Cutting in, too formal. We can broker restitution. Replace the mystic and the king. No. They exchanged a look. Old allies, unofficial enemies. Too much history for rules. Too little patience for forms. Goblin King. That's branding. Transition sound. Low humming tech. Containers sealing. The doppelgangers, too tall, too twitchy, were sealed inside containment pods, each one humming faintly like haunted refrigerators lined up to forget. Mystic. To dwarf. What exactly happened? 2 fake trolls, one Cyclops, one Cyclops troll, said they had a gift for the guild. It was them. You have a death wish, don't you? Sometimes, but I've got time. Didn't realize it was you, Lopez. We heard stories, neutral medics, thought it was just traitor talk. Turns out dumb legends can be real. He extended a hand, not to shake, just to honor. Next time we cross paths, pints on me, doesn't break your code. Neutrals are neutral to neutrals, right? He laughs awkwardly. They're young. Not their fault they're creepy. There's a school nearby, unless... He leaned in. Maybe I write 3 instead of 5 on the form. Maybe one pod falls off the wagon, cutting him off. No. Too many witnesses. I've got contacts, but it'll cost you. Worth a shot. Transition. Quiet breeze. Shifting magic. The city finally exhaled. Magic in the walls stopped twitching. The sky softened into something almost beautiful. Mystic stood at the edge of a rail. Zigzag floated beside her, both silent. All that for a fly. Don't start. Footsteps behind them, metal clicking, slow, familiar. Eightball limped up, his knee glowing softly in the morning light. He bent it once, slowly. Soft click, the liquid swirled. Magic knee readout. Cannot predict now. Knees tired? Mystic? Knees earned it.